Just over a week since we launched our 1 Million Minutes campaign. Already you have pledged nearly 6 million minutes.
That's amazing.
It is extraordinary.
Huge
just over a week for people who are lonely this year.
Well, a survey by The Pulse and Good Morning Britain has highlighted the extent of the problem. 1 in 6 health professionals believe loneliness has now reached epidemic proportions.
Well, since the launch of our campaign, we've had huge celebrity backing and delighted to welcome Dame Barbara Windsor's husband, Scott Mitchell, to the studio. Good morning to you, Scott. Lovely to have you with us. We're going to be talking to Scott very shortly. First, though, let's hear Hazel's story.
Well, Hazel and I met about 25 years ago. And we've been very happy, done a lot together, and with a fairly, not a hectic social life, a very good social life. Dementia started developing and hasn't made a change to our life, there's no doubt about it. Losing our wee licence, that hit her hard. That hit her very hard. It has been a bit lonely for your friends back away. They do. They don't mean to, but they do. Mary has been a big godsend to me. And the main reason is I can see the happiness in Hazel.
She'll give me a big hug, we'll get into the car, and the minute the music goes on, it's just like, it sort of overtakes her. The smile just gets bigger and she starts sort of bopping along to it and singing along. And whenever I bring her home at the end of our day out, she goes, oh, I just want to do that all again. She's like filled a gap in my life for me, and I just love spending time with her. I just really, really enjoy her company.
So you better think it over. Oh, what a lovely film. Well, Scott joins us now. Morning to you, Scott. How are you this morning?
Yeah, really well, thanks.
How's
Lovely
Barbara
to be
doing?
here. Barbara's doing OK, thank you. Yeah, she's, you know, as we always say, it's a progressive illness, so you always expect things to get a little bit worse as you go along.
I mean, I'm sure that film resonated with you an awful lot because you can see the situation, and one of the things that Bobby said, Hazel's husband, was friends have backed away. They don't mean to, but they've backed away. Is that something that you have experienced as well, that the difficulty with friends trying to understand how best to help you?
Yeah.
I sometimes think maybe you just need space.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for people, to be honest with you. We've been really fortunate. We've had some really consistent friends and family, you know, that have been there from the moment that they knew about it, and certainly when we went public with it. But I do understand people also have busy lives, and sometimes people feel a bit awkward. They don't know, people that haven't been don't know what to expect, so they don't know what to say either. And, you know, I do understand that. Not everyone's comfortable, but it's so important, which is why your Million Minutes campaign is absolutely fantastic. You know, the difference that it makes to people when you, let's say, pay a visit, and this is not only kind of on the volunteering side, but also family and friends as well. You know, if you know that there's one person doing most of the caring for someone, the difference it makes to have a visit, just for that hour, not only for the person living with the illness, but also for the carer as well. You know, it just changes the whole day, and a lot of the time days can feel very much the same. So...
And we want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's continuing to pledge right at the moment. We've just hit over 6 million minutes have been pledged while we've been on air this morning, which is brilliant. A huge thank you for that. I mean, you speak from such personal experience about this. You know, you're caring for Barbara. How is it from your perspective? Because I can imagine it's probably sometimes those moments when you're there in the evening, you're watching TV or sitting on the sofa together. It's...
Well, I think really, you know, there is a sense of Groundhog Day for us. Just lately, I've accepted a couple of invitations to go out in the evening, and what I realise is when I do go out and socialise, I've forgotten what a normal social life is. And I think that's the same for many carers as well, because you do become isolated away from that. And while the rest of the world is getting on with normal things, as we've all done, and we all do, and quite rightly so, you know, life is for the living, you do suddenly get a sense of, well, this is me kind of nearly every night, going to be in this position. I don't say that in any way to feel sorry for myself or to make it sound like Barbara's a burden. Never.
It's just the
never
reality.
in the life. It is just the reality of it.
Was there a sense, though, Scott, when you accept those things, there's a bit of guilt because you're thinking, look, I'm going to go out and enjoy myself and Barbara's going to be at home?
I still struggle. I still struggle with that. I struggled with it when I first decided that we would have carers come in the house, I was worried about how she would be if I wasn't there. I think it hits her at different times. During the confusion, obviously we get the kind of repetitive questions of really not knowing where the house is now. And, you know, just lately, occasionally, although most of the time she knows me, she can just look at me straight in the eye and say, do you know where my husband Scott is? Oh. And, you know, they're really tough things. Doesn't matter how used to it you get in a way, but each time it happens, it's like a body blow. And then she realises it, and then she's a bit upset with herself for the fact that it's happened. So there is that sense of isolation for the person as well, because, you know, they also sense that life is going on and they're not a part of it like they used to be.
So that's why you're backing our campaign. Explain to people what they can do to pledge their time, and also there's going to be a Dame Barbara Windsor award, isn't there? Well,
this is absolutely fantastic, and she's so honoured, and she thanks everyone at Good Morning Britain so much. I know you're going to have your first ever Million Minutes Awards in January.
Yeah. We are.
And as you say, there's going to be a Dame Barbara Windsor Award, which is for people who have helped older people, who have volunteered their time for older people, or just generally helped friends who may be lonely, slightly isolated, people with dementia. I think that's a really important thing as well, is the awareness of dementia. And there's different ways you can do that. There's the side-by-side, which we saw in the video with Mary and Hazel, which is an absolutely fantastic way to do it if you do have some spare time. As far as dementia is concerned, the Alzheimer Society, if you go to Good Morning Britain's website, that will direct you to Alzheimer Society website. You can see how you can pledge your time. Of course, this is across with all the charities, so the Million Minutes campaign is for everything, not just dementia.
But you know firsthand the difference it makes when those carers come in and they can give you some respite. But also we saw in the film as well how Hazel came to life when Mary turned up and how much she enjoyed that time in the car with Mary.
Well, that's it. That's what happens, that you kind of see this sense of... I know with Barbara, she pulls herself together when someone's in the house, and she brightens up, and it's almost like, oh, great, I don't have to look at Scott. But, you know, the change is really good. And, as I said, we're really honoured that she's going to be recognised as an award. And
rightly so. We are very, very fond of you both. And we're looking forward to the Million Minutes Awards.
Please send our love.
I will do.
You both have a special Christmas.
Thank you so much.
And you'll be pleased to know, while you've been on air, we have added about 1.5 million minutes. We're over 7,719,000.
Amazing.
So you being here and talking about it so honestly and openly, Scott, has made a big difference already.
That's fantastic.
That's
fantastic.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Don't forget, you can help us tackle loneliness if you pledge your time to help people with Alzheimer's or any of the other charities right now. Go to the website itv.com/GMB and you can pledge your time.